Hi everyone, I'm Jamel bin Saidane from Carthagina, and today I will be presenting this session about challenges and opportunity while documenting endangered heritage. So, to start, we will take a look at brief look at the history of Tunisia. Then we'll speak about different minorities present in Tunisia, then the journey to documentate this heritage, and the challenges and opportunity that the challenges we face through this journey, and the opportunity that this can offer to us and for everyone, even in the continent, and for the minority themselves. So to start, Tunisia has maybe witnessed the process all the life, through its life until nowadays, the process of an incalculable number of civilizations, starting from the Phoenician, which has come to the country since 1814 before Christ, then with the golden age of Carthage at its apogee, against even then when it goes in war against Rome, and its destruction in 146 before Christ. Then with the time we become Roman cities, then comes the Byzantine, then the Arab in the 7th century, and with the Arab arrival, the Islam entered the country. So with the Arab also we will face different kingdoms, different ruling family that will take place all over the time. For example, in the 10th century, like this 1969 is the foundation of the Mahdiya by the ruling family, the new kings of the new kingdom of the Fatimid. Then from the 13th century, it will be one of the longest ruling family in Tunisia, the Hafsid family. Then in 1534, it will mark that the start of the offense of Ottoman among the country, which will take Tunisia under their ruling starting from 1574. Then in the 18th century, the change of the ruling system from the Moradid and will pass to the Husseinid family. 1881 will mark the entrance of French and the colonization of the country. They will keep controlling the country until 1956, the independence of Tunisia. And then from 1956 to 2011, the accession of two different presidents. The first one, Bourguiba, then the Ben Ali era. 2011 will mark the revolution of Tunisian among the dictatorship and the installation of a new system, democratic way in the country. So all this civilization has not only left footprint in all matter of heritage, Tunisian heritage, tangible and intangible one, our way to speak, our way how our clothes, foods, and many of our custom and tradition, but also this differentiation leaves us an important number of minority. So to start, we'll start with the ethnic and linguistic minority. The first one is the Amazigh, which are the native people of Tunisia, which also are in an ethnic plan the majority and the largest community of all the country. We conduct many different research. About 19% of Tunisians have Amazigh origin. But here we are speaking about the linguist minority, because the Amazigh, which are an ethnic majority, was turned into a linguistic minority. Now, the estimation is that people who can speak this language, who kept knowing and training this knowledge of the language, it's less than 1% of the whole population of Tunisia. And this community is essentially live at the south of the country, especially Tataouine, Mednin, and Jerba. And just for the record, I'm one of this community. I'm one also of the community who still live in the capital, but like I say, the major number live in Tataouine, Mednin, and Jerba. The second minority. This, before going to the second one, this is some photo about, for example, to the left it's Matmata, and to the right it's Dueret and Tatawin. The second minority, it's black people, or the Tunisian issued from sub-Saharan country. This community is essentially constituted from people who was at the beginning, since the time of Carthage and after, bring to the country as slave, was traded here or sent to other countries in the Mediterranean. When in 1846 Tunisia proclaimed that there will be no more slavery in the country, a large number of these people became free and kept living in the city and the country in different cities. But with the time, they lose a lot of their heritage, of what make them special among other community, but they keep few of their intangible heritage, such as especially, which is now become after the revolution very known among all the Tunisian, it's their Sufi music, which is called Stambeli. And here in both photo, we can see two different players of Stambeli. The name of both of guys in the Stambeli also language, or also this community name is Yenna, which is the man who control, who can play this music like the master or the maestro in the orchestra, but for the Stambeli one. The other big minority are the religious minority. Tunisia essentially is considered as a Muslim country, and the majority follow the Maliki school of thinking, which is one of the four major schools of Islamic jurisprudence within the Sunni Islam. But under this, besides the 19% of our, or more than 19%, 99% maybe of the Tunisian are considered as Sunni Malikite, we still have few other minority Muslims under the Sunnite, which are basically the Ibadite, which is the largest majority among the Maliki. One is present essentially in Jerba or in Tunis, but among the Jerbi living in Tunis. In Jerba we count more than 100 Ibadite mosques, even if now major part of the mosque are even closed or used as a Malikite one, not Ibadite anymore. The second art is the Hanafi, which this is one of the fourth major jurisprudence school in Islam, but it was essentially brought to the country with the arrival of the Ottoman. The Turkish, until nowadays, still are Hanafi, so they built a lot of mosques all over the country, but starting from the independence, the government decided that we will not have two school of thinking as it used to be, but one which is the Maliki. However, many of the old Hanafi mosques still work as the Hanafi in an unofficial way. In the official way, they are Maliki mosque, but people keep pray there as it's a Hanafi mosque, and they still have community of Hanafi believer follower in Tunisia. We don't know the exact number because generally they don't express themselves as Hanafi. So the third Muslim minority, which is different from the Sunni, is the Shia. The Shia is the second largest or the second biggest school of thinking in Islam itself. There is the Sunni and there is the Shia. Their presence in Tunisia, it's very old. Take its root back to the 9th century with the foundation of the Fatimid dynasty, who claim that they are descended from the Prophet, essentially from his daughter Fatima Zahra, which became their name, the Fatimid dynasty. And since then, we keep having a small minority of Shia. Before the revolution, really they didn't express themselves or go out to public. But since the revolution, we start to see their presence essentially in the south, in Gabis. They still have the only Husseiniya, which is placed together and to celebrate their own celebration and Eid, etc. But there is no real information about their number. The non-Muslim minority, we have the Jewish, and we know that we have proven Jewish presence in Tunisia since the time of Carthage. And this is used to be one of the largest or the biggest minority all over the country. We counted before the independence more than 100,000 Jewish living all over the country. You have to know that we have two different Jewish communities. The Tuensa, which means the Tunisian one, which are here since the time of Carthage, like I said before, and the Grana, which are the Jewish who has come to Tunisia from Livorno in Italy, and which are originally from Granada in Spain. Now we count about 1,500 Jewish only living all over the country, with more than 1,000, about 1,100 living in Jerba only. And in Jerba there is one of the most important Jewish places in Tunisia, but also all over North Africa and the world, the Ghariba synagogue. The second non-Muslim religious minority is the Christian. This is also one of the oldest to exist in the country, and since also Tunisia offered, when it was Christian, 3 popes to the Catholic Church, also many of the Catholic Church martyrs are from Tunisia, like Saint Cyprian, Saint Felicity, etc. But now this community is essentially composed of foreigners living in the country, working here or studying in Tunisia, especially people from sub-Saharan country. We know that there is Tunisian, but we don't have any detail about their number and their existence. And this is because we'll speak about the challenges due to the community, and we will speak about why we don't have enough information about this community. Here's some pictures of different places related to community all over the country. So now we will speak about our journey to document this heritage. With ASOR, during this year, we had a lot of training, especially knew how to use collecting tools like Kobo Toolbox, then how to use it to transform what we collected and visualize it in a map with QGIS, then how to take photos, especially the photogrammetry techniques, how to create 3D models. This is some photo of some different events and different places. We go through this journey to documentate. Nabil in Tunis, also in Jerba, with the Ghariba ceremony, or with different, it's minority gathered in one place, which is the island of Jerba. The challenge, there is many challenges to deal with while documenting many territories. First of these challenges is the minority accessibility itself. A large part of this minority generally live close to themselves and not open to others because they are afraid of episode or attacks from others, from the government itself. Sometimes, especially with the Jewish, the Christian, this is why when I say we don't know any information about, for example, Tunisian, because a large community of Muslims consider when you change your religion, it's something that can go even to the pain of death. So this is why a large number of Tunisian Christians don't say that they are Christian. Or if the same thing for Shia, for the Jewish or for the Christian, there has been back in the time history of attacks. So this is why they live like enclosed in their own community. Also, the government, the heritage situation itself. In many cases, we face that, like you see in this picture, there is collapsed building some buildings are even gone forever. We don't find any trace anymore. Some are in very, very bad situation. Some are inaccessible. Like if you see this picture, it's an old Greek Orthodox church, but it's inaccessible nowadays because where was the doors are now shops. So we don't have how to access to the church. We only see this the window that is from the outside, from the wall, but we can't access to the church itself. Other thing is the community reaction all over where the minority lives. Sometimes it's very harsh, so you have to be careful when documenting the heritage for the reaction of other people living in the same place. The institutional position, the government itself, regarding history like this or regarding action like this, they're always suspicious why you want to document it. They're afraid if you are going to tell that they are not doing that, what they have to do to protect this heritage, to preserve it, etc. So generally, they don't see any documentation or any action on such heritage as something good. Also, the technical capacity. Sometimes we face some problem in how to deal with some different situations, how to take photo in a very narrow place, or sometimes you need to have drones so you can take the picture of all the buildings surrounded, but it's very hard to find in Tunisia, very hard to get the license to use it, etc. So this is one of the main challenges that we face it through this journey of documentation. However, it's not always as bad as this. There is opportunity and some benefits from this journey, this documentation itself. So how to profit or what the opportunity over this process? The first thing is building more trust with the minority, which will allow us more access to that minority and more possibility to document more. And instead of only documentate, for example, in some time the tangible heritage, we can go to documentate the intangible one and preserve it from to be forgotten or to be lost forever. Second thing, make minority heritage more accessible for researcher and community member. Allow much people to know about it and to study it more. Learning and building new capability to document and preserve heritage. Through this documentation process, we have the opportunity to learn more when working with ASOR, when working also with other associations, with other also partners like the Lab of Manuba, or our colleague from Libya, that's Libya or the Scout. We learned more, and this exchange also when working with the different community, training them and assisting with them, we learn also more in how to preserve this special heritage. Also increase awareness about the minority heritage among the community that live near to the different minority. That can help us help the minority in the first place and then help us to preserve it. And also when we want to work or to do more by creating a plan of renovation or restoration, this will guarantee us that the community itself will not be opposed to such project. Also, one of the most important opportunities like create more comprehension of minority heritage and thinking among the majority living all around. Last but not least, raise awareness about among government institutions on preserving minority heritage. Through this work, we raise the government institution and the representative awareness about the importance of this minority and the importance of preserving it and guarding it to the next generation.